frankly, I think it could go either way. We're going to throw this up on screen. In the upper right, we have our Terran player, the older brother, the tasteless one. He is LucifroN.
And down in the bottom left, his brother, also from Team Karante, it is VortiX.
All right. It is a one-on-one map, and it looks like we are going to have a fairly, well, we'll see if we actually have any cheese or anything like that, but...
You know, I generally anticipate that LucifroN will go for the mech play. He was one of the first Terrans to really focus on it a lot, had some huge success with it, but Daybreak is one of these maps where it's kind of difficult to do mech. You either have to go ultra passive and wait for a long time because the distances are so big, or you have to get very, very aggressive, which is a huge risk in itself because it's like tough to reinforce with Thors and that sort of thing.
You know, when we go into the late game here, that's when you really want to watch a fourth base over there. Generally, we call it the fourth base, the one that's going to be closer to the middle. This one over here, that's more of a positional base there.
Yeah.
If we go into the end game, late game, where we got Brood Lords, Terran has finished the entire tech tree, we will see the destructible rocks torn down, and from there we see back and forth pushes. Brood Lord's very strong on this map against the ground army because you're pushing down a bridge, if you will. Whereas, of course, that does give some Vikings a little bit of an advantage, try to pick them off, but you want to watch for that for sure.
Total mind games going on right now. VortiX already going for the 10 pool, went for the double extractor trick and actually botched it, ended up at 11 of 10. So I would guess that VortiX doesn't do this that much. It's kind of easy for the hands to mess this up if you're somewhat inexperienced with it, but it's going to be the perfect mind game play. The excellent read. LucifroN going command center first and not even walling in.
Terrible. Oh, this could end very quickly. Okay, so here's what we want to watch for. First of all, LucifroN does not expect this to come because he could have made the command center on the above the ramp, and then it walled in with the barracks. So there's a threat of this. Now we'll see how he handles this. As you said, Sean, or Day 9, or Mr. Plot. It does seem like he does not done the strat many times before since he messed up with the extractor trick. So maybe, this is going to be bad. This is going to be, I think, very short.
This is a very tough position for LucifroN, especially in the best of 5 series. I mean, this build from LucifroN, it's so greedy, and going for the 10 pool with 6 Lings doesn't actually put you that far behind his Zerg, and there he ends up spotting it. Zergling's marching right up. Will LucifroN cancel? He needs to wall off immediately.
He probably should take that one SCV off the, I guess it's too late now. I was going to say try to make any kind of deep up there. SCV goes down. Okay, and instantly, now that's interesting. I thought he was going to go up the ramp.
Wow.
I don't know if I agree with this. What are your thoughts?
This is one of these not as big of an advantage as you could normally get, but it's guaranteed
safer
advantage. Yeah, you get to kill this off.
I have mixed feelings about this because I really expected him to just run up to the high ground or have one Ling attack the SCD and then just go up. So, okay, I suppose that this is a guaranteed advantage versus, coming down to micro. And we'll see. He's going to back off now. Now they're both at about 19 supply. VortiX now catching up.
Yeah, LucifroN's in a pretty good position. I mean, LucifroN can just throw down the factory and go straight into Hellion. And you look back over at the base, what did LucifroN see? He saw no gas. So he knows that he's actually going to have a very comfortable time containing with Hellions. There's no speed. There's no risk of roaches. And most importantly, there's no creep spread. I think VortiX definitely overcommitted with the number of Zerglings. 8 is generally when players like Startail Life end up pulling back on that Zergling production, but
yeah, a little bit of an overcommittal there. It looks like the SCV trying to get in here. It's not going to. I don't know if there's a ton of information he'd actually get since it was a 10 pull. The Zerg's tech is delayed slightly. The only thing the Zerg's really doing right now is droning up.
Yeah, it's a very calm response from both players, actually. LucifroN just going, yep, didn't need that expansion anyways, going straight for the Hellion. I would anticipate to see a huge swell of queens out of VortiX. Going for a gas play is not really going to be that effective. It's already super late. I mean, what damage are you really going to deal? Going for the queens at least opens up the opportunity for a third. And Hellion Banshee, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, this is very standard stuff here from our Terran player. Now, the timing is going to feel a little bit different because it's a bit delayed.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit of a wonky-looking game, even though both players at this point in time are going for, standard unit compositions. But, the timing of the Banshees and the Hellions will be a little bit weird here. The Starport and the Tech Lab are finished, so they're going to connect now, and we're going to move on with this DBZ.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is that oftentimes this is the area of confrontation right by the third base with Hellion Banshee, but instead we're actually going to be seeing it's probably going to be right here at the front with the 2 queens, and LucifroN needs to not overcommit with his Hellion production in this circumstance, just because he's already gotten the positional edge by having his opponent be so far behind, but VortiX is doing a lot of those fundamental things very, very well, having these overlords nicely ringed about his base as far out as he can safely have them. But a follow-up Viking would be an excellent transition for LucifroN.
Yeah, he doesn't have a ton of overlords too far out, but you know, with Banshees coming up first, he's going to have that few second extra notice. I don't believe that's going to be completely tight, that wall.
Yeah,
there's a little bit of a hole.
Real.
Oh, really? Well, that's very, very well placed then.
Yeah,
I actually thought that was going to slip through, but yeah, okay. It looked like he just barely had it shut.
I mean, it's still risky though, because I mean, even the slightest little glitch of the queens and the Hellions run on through, and suddenly you're way, way behind. But
they actually have a LucifroN supply blocked. Just now finishing that depot, but his Banshees are going to be delayed. Note he's hiding the Banshees. He's not sending them out just yet. So I think he wants to get maybe 2 or 3 and then move out. It takes 2 Banshee build times for 1 cloak to finish.
Yeah, and you know, I think this is a really smart play by LucifroN, because right now VortiX is going to go, oh, my opponent has not yet shown Banshees. He's going to be going 3 command center. That is the transition that LucifroN looks like he's performing, but VortiX actually totally not falling for it. If he's metagaming his brother enough to go for 10 pool on this map, then he's certainly capable of metagaming him enough to blindly go spores.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much going on here. As far as mind games go, excuse me. And we are going to see mech. We know that because of the double armory.
And we also know it because it's LucifroN.
Yeah, he loves his mech. Mech, I think, especially good on this map.
We do see VortiX going for the 1-1 upgrade, his classic mixture, trying to be as aggressive as he can with those upgrades. Whoops, accidentally losing one of those Hellions, but this is a nice opportunity to get VortiX a little bit out of position. Even a player with his control as good as VortiX can still make that error and have the queens in the wrong spot.
2 Banshees, so they can basically one-shot drones. I don't agree with this preemptive cloak. That was a bit unnecessary. Wait until you're actually being hit, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of players have been doing the preemptive cloak.
There's nothing that necessitates that, even though it's just a few extra energy, whatever, you know, a few little bits of energy.
Yeah.
It's probably a little bit better to not do that. Now we got the drones being hit over here. And I think overall, VortiX has got some pretty solid defense. These Banshees not quite painted themselves just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this big queen play. Will he get one?
Oh!
He does manage to get that queen down, so that's an excellent little bit of control from LucifroN. LucifroN's wary of moving across this sort of no man's land where there's not enough creep to connect. Now his Banshees will, this is what we call a micro break, or what other players call macro.
Now we have the drones being picked up. Okay, now these Banshees have done enough damage. He does lose one, but, you know, once the Spire's out, the Banshees don't really become that useful. I guess you can keep them with your main army. They do put out a lot of damage, but overall not as helpful.
Right now we do have the Hellion reactor factory not really producing that much at this point in time. There's the engineering bay. This is a sort of interesting timing for an engineering bay. Sure, it'll help against the Spire, but it opens the potential to get a fairly early command center here to be able to go for a planetary fortress. VortiX now has the 1-1 upgrade. His 3rd has been spotted. His creep is decent. He's getting close there. He's not really nailing it quite yet, but LucifroN is going to have to start really... Ooh, this is interesting. Halting
a lot of, yeah. He's slowed that down to have a factory explosion here. A lot more factories are going to come out. And we have the Hellions coming up over here now. He's going to get a lot of drones here. I mean, links, excuse me, and he's going to go and back off. Okay, nice.
Oh, great.
Banshee's hitting this. Again, a preemptive cloak there. But he could get this. The queen's not fast off creep.
Oh, and it looks like LucifroN is going to try to stretch his edge as thin as possible. A little bit too thin. Did not quite pull them back in time. But
VortiX
still,
on a bit of a roll right now.
Yeah.
What is the drone count and SCV count? Can you check for me?
Right now it's at 49 to 61. LucifroN, who actually lost his first command center, doing an excellent job.
I know, right?
With the amount of workers he's killed off, it's not considerable, but it's enough to have put him in a great lead.
All right, so the Thors are coming out here now. And it looks like he's actually going to be going for Hellion Thor, what we call the Karn build. And you know, this is a really nice build because if you catch the Zerg off guard, it's very difficult to stop. They have to have a lot of roaches out, and a player that's going mutas is going to be denied immediately.
Crisp timing.
Yeah, really nice there. Well, the Thors are going to drive these mutas out.
In the main base, it looks like we do see the missile turret helping to deal a little bit more additional damage. LucifroN doing a good job positioning these Thors all around, has his 3 gas geysers set up, but there's really not a lot of spotting to see if there's any kind of Zergling counterattack, harassment. VortiX now just going mass drone upgrade. It looks like he's going to have to go for the mid-game special speedlings and speed roaches to deal with this mech mix.
Hellions coming up now. And you know, these mutas have been pretty ineffective. I mean, yes, they have picked up a few things here and there, but ideally you want to do a lot more damage.
Yeah.
And it looks like LucifroN's going to be turtling for a while. He's not going to go for any kind of 150 timing push here, which we occasionally see Koreans do, especially with this kind of build. Well, as I say that, though, he is moving out now.
Oh, he does manage to pick off the back Mutalisk. With that +2 attack, you can pick off Mutalisk a lot more easily. 2 shots instead of 3. VortiX now taking his forward hatch. I don't know how much I like this against a mech player. Sure, it's a little easier to defend in the Hellion harass, but I honestly think that the...
Dude, I agree with you 100%. I don't like this at all. I mean, mech is slow. You know, the weakness of mech is its immobility. So what you do is you always expand away from it, and then the burden on the mech players to finally get to the closest expansion. So I feel like VortiX is going to be rewarding him in a way. If he gets the hive quick enough, gets Broodlords up, I guess it's fine, and then the pit is even more secure.
Still kind of a risk to devote too heavily to too early of a hive, because you can't really kill off big masses of mech units in the way that you can kill off big masses of Marines. You can easily do fungals to kill off huge packs of Marines or banelings to kill off huge packs of them, but mech, you really just need the big damage-dealing units like roaches in mass numbers, or infested Terrans. But this is kind of an interesting choice to get a lot of banelings.
Yeah, getting some banelings here. Banelings can occasionally be effective against mech if they're bunched together, especially Thor Hellion. But, you know, you got to be careful because, of course, the Hellions can just melt the banelings. I think one of the best ways to do this is to load them up into Overlords and drop on top of the mech army.
Yeah,
especially when mutas are out.
Yeah, there's really no way to kill off Overlords. Thors are so bad at it. LucifroN going for some harass, and I'm so happy he's not bringing all of his Hellions. A lot of mech players just box all the Hellions and
like
try
24
to go.
Hellions flying around the map.
Yeah. Will get surrounded, but not a considerable loss. LucifroN even manages to line up some of those Zerglings, get himself a couple of extra kills.
And it looks like LucifroN going to continue to max out here. That is a lot of Thors, man. You know, and from here, he's going to just make siege tanks, and he will probably push once he's secured his 5th or during that, tearing down the middle. And I don't know. I think VortiX might be in trouble.
I do think this is a cool transition. We don't actually get to see that much. The neural parasite on the infestors. Wow, roach speed. That's a late roach speed. 2-2's now finished up for LucifroN.
Sick roach speed at 17-minute timing here. So we got the Hellions coming in over here. Wiping out these big timbers. And this is an interesting angle of approach. I guess he will have the high ground advantage. This is probably favorable for mech.
Yeah, it's nice and tight. He doesn't have to worry.
The rocks were not torn down in the middle, right? Nope. Okay, that's why he's doing it then.
Smartly left those up to be able to reinforce along this path. We see the Mutalisk trying to do a little bit of damage with that forward. Banshee's already done some excellent hits on those Queens. Bought himself some time. The position is really nice from LucifroN, but he can't exactly start sieging forward.
Here we go.
LucifroN moving forward. Oh, the neural parasite on the Thors.
Roach is coming down here. Infested Terrans being spammed out, but the Hellions are going to be doing a lot of damage. Siege mode is up. And, you know, it's hard to say who's going to win this. I see a lot of roaches here, though. Neural Parasite did work on those Thors temporarily, but now he's actually surrounded.
Wow.
And it does look like he's going to lose this army here and potentially his 4th base.
And the hive is only just now finishing. No hive tech around the corner. It's going to have to be just roaches to keep him alive, and LucifroN wants exactly that to be the situation. Now Hellion's running by. What a great move. No defense here on the backside. This is going to allow time for tanks to reinforce the front. And, oh, my God, Tasteless, he is lining them up.
He is kicking ass here. This game got out of control very quickly here. Supplies maybe even, income maybe even, but as far as drone count as well as you know, bases secured, he's going to be in some trouble. Now we have the roaches coming up here though, and there are not a lot of Thors here. Thor's quite good against roaches, even though roaches are sort of counter unique for Thors. That they handle him pretty well. It looks like he will just barely actually secure his 4th here. Very nice.
Excellent, excellent answer here from VortiX. LucifroN still storming forward with siege tanks and Hellions.
I don't think they should keep pushing here.
Yep,
I think he should actually turn around.
He needs to wait till at least 152 before
he pushes. This is going to lose.
But I think he might be sacrificing these units to buy enough time for this to turn into a planetary fortress, which is a reasonable play, but he's got to start the freaking planet.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it, though. I mean, if you look at it, he doesn't even know about this base. So, okay, he's coming here now, and it looks like he will just barely wipe out this set of siege tanks.
Oh, apparently 3-3 siege tanks are very good against roaches, just ripping those apart. The drone count is looking very low right now. For VortiX is plummeted down to 60 when it was up to close to 85 earlier on, and VortiX is actually not even building any anti-air, now finally getting those extra starports.
You can go for Sky Terran at this point in time.
Yeah.
You just have a secure base here. It's going to work out perfectly because you see the Greater Spire's about to finish. LucifroN is one step ahead. Looking good.
Adrenal glands down, Ultralisk Cavern not doing too much yet. VortiX is staying quite resilient. 7 Ultralisks popping out, an excellent answer to that siege tank count. But the
man,
back end is completely open. More
some
drones.
deja vu here. More drones are going to be melted. And oh man, the fact that he's going to have to keep on making drones while LucifroN is making a sky army, it's going to be pretty ugly.
He needs
even
to do
more
some
drones killed here.
No fungal growth available at that point in time. More drones do fall down. LucifroN in an excellent position, starting to just flood with a ton of those Vikings. And I'm glad to see some production structure getting produced by LucifroN because his money is very, very high. Can easily begin spending that on more Hellions to be more aggressive. But I think the Sky Terran transition is the excellent.
Now, here's what I want to see, because I always get frustrated when I see players do this. After he kills off the Broodlords, assuming that he gets enough of them out here, well, he's going to be going for Ultra, so I'll get to that in a minute. But looks like we're going to have an attack here from VortiX.
Oh my god, that Ultralisk army.
That's pretty
so big,
scary.
So fast, and the tanks are sieged, doing very little damage to these Ultralisk. LucifroN target firing the Infestors and the Roaches at the backside, but it's pretty much going to come down to this Banshee and this small line of tanks at the back to do the damage. And in the meantime, Blue Flame Hellions waltzing right into the natural expansion.
He's doing a ton of damage here. Now, there's a planetary, and right now it seems like LucifroN is trying to reinforce. A lot of drones are going to be picked off, though, and that's going to put the drone count right now at 43 to 72, and I don't know if actually this planetary is going to be killed.
This is going to be a very close fight in the back. LucifroN making as many tank Viking as he can, but he misestimated. His opponent was not going for the Greater Spire attack. Over devoted, and this is the toughest part about mech, is dealing with that switch transition. We see LucifroN having a disorganization of air units every which way. The bottom right expansion now under a huge threat.
I think VortiX may seal this right now. You lose the fourth and the fifth. How's the third doing as minerals are?
Well, they're running quite low. He's been dropping a ton of mules there.
This, to this base's benefit, it's been hit so many times it hasn't really been able to be utilized. We have the fifth also for the Zerg here at the upper left side of the map, and it looks like now, I don't know, man, he's stuck with all these Vikings, and they're not useful.
Yeah, it's a difficult position to be in. You can't overcommit to air. Or I guess I would say you can't half commit to air. You either have to devote fully to it, get out a ton of Banshee Viking, battle cruiser, really get in there with Ravens too, or you have to really devote to mech and start attacking more. But this sort of half and half, there's a lot of tank, a lot of Viking, a lot of Hellion, has caused LucifroN some trouble, and now he's starting to back up.
Frankly, he should have sent those Vikings out and started hitting Overlords. He could have done something else with them.
Yeah.
It was it was a bunch of Infestors together in an attack. He could have killed off so many Overlords and done something to stifle the reproduction here of VortiX.
78 workers killed off. We've had over 100 workers total killed off. VortiX is still making Infestors because that's what Zerg players do.
That's what they do, man. I heard Fungal's pretty good.
Yeah.
I read that somewhere once.
Infestor plus Infestor is an excellent composition. Like Diapollo's been calling Lenok Infestor Gadget. I thought you'd like that.
That's pretty good.
He's a great player.
That's like a tasteless kind of joke right there, man. That's like, I love bad jokes. We got more Hellions coming up here at the top left. I don't know. I do like getting some Banshees here, but they can do a lot of damage to the Ultras. But at the same time, Fungal's going to mess up air units better than anything else.
Unfortunately, those Banshees are light, so they take considerable Fungals, and it looks like there's a lot of Hellions trying to move up to the top side. But fortunately, LucifroN is not over-devoting to this Hellion production. He's not over-devoting to this Hellion harassment. He's just building the Goldilocks zone of Hellions, just the right amount, not too many.
It's too bad, actually, because the fourth base here for VortiX was so low. If he had picked that up, I think this game could have been different.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact that this is just a few inches from death is just really going to be hurting LucifroN so much. Interesting that there's been so much action and then this full retreat pullback from both players. I mean, when you've killed off 78 or just 83 drones now, completely makes sense as to why VortiX would pull back and want to rebuild. And LucifroN definitely got that little breath of fresh air there, but he's going out for his max push again.
This is sort of a weird... crap. God.
My God.
I don't know how that happens, first of all, but oh, God.
Yeah, that is going to hurt so bad. I mean, he only has 9 tanks, and if 3 of them are back there, he's just dropped the strength of his army by 50%. VortiX has to be very careful. Oh, my God.
Okay. He's never going to notice that, so it might be too late. That doesn't mean that will cost him the game, but that will change the way this game looks.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be well defended there at that expansion. You see VortiX now throwing out a couple of infested Terrans. Nice job leading with the Hellions. He actually gets 2 infestors with Hellions. That is a big deal. And LucifroN doing the very slow, steady push while taking the bottom side Hellions. Oh, those are going to be very strong. They can swing up into the third base. We're seeing this.
Yeah.
The Vikings are in an
Here
excellent
we
position.
go. The Vikings are doing a ton of damage here to the Broodlords. Meanwhile, we got Hellions coming over here to the expansion. So much going on. You can barely follow it. A lot of drones being picked off here.
Oh, my God. A terrible angle right now for VortiX. He just gets eaten alive in the meat grinder of metal. We see LucifroN killing drones left and right. And the Roach army finally dissipates. No Broodlords, no Infestors, no nothing. 105 drones killed. It's about to go hit 120.
Dude, this is really bad. He's going to lose more drones over here. This has been a drone massacre this game. I can't believe VortiX is actually attacking with these drones. And that's it, GG. Wow, sick.
I mean, that was an excellent
Talk
game.
about a comeback there. I mean, considering it started out with this early pool that actually punished the command center